Okay, meeting started, we have video and photos in progress, that 1907.
We had last year with us.
I do not see Western. We are the only participant right now.
Well, can you tell that if other people are?
Yeah, here's your list. I actually put it up on the side so you can tell.
Oh, yeah.
I don't use Zoom that much anymore. We shifted to Teams at my company, but I used to use it a lot.
So you're shifting to what instead?
Microsoft Teams. It's Microsoft's version of Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What makes it better?
It's cheaper. If you have, a 365 license, it's kind of included, so you don't have to pay extra. Other than that, the features are pretty comparable. Alan used to be using it. For the Zoom. Anyway, it was part of it. Screwed up my computer regularly with my old operating system. Didn't I? Yeah, we use a lot of Microsoft Suite. It's all patterns, so there is some benefit for that. We'll move over here, seeing we have audio problems. So we wait for that. I did do my reading of chapter 1 of the PowerPoint. And then looked at the maps that it talks about. Very interesting. I had not read chapter 1. Probably can answer some questions relative to the mapping. I sent out something in the email somewhat late in the afternoon today. I saw it, and that's got a pretty heavy load of attachments. Two of which are rather substantial. The ones which I think we can refer to immediately, and it wasn't too big of a printout, so I printed out the basic steps for requirements for town plans that the WRC has. The other big email attachment was all of the legislative changes that have taken place. That's some 27 pages long, and they're just abstracts for each one of the topics we have to look at. Yeah, so it's a major undertaking.
Did you send that out to us or?
Yes.
We didn't see it. I was looking at it, maybe about 4 o'clock.
Oh, okay, maybe just a little bit before that, but it's in that general vicinity.
Okay, well, then it's there. Yeah. Should we just start so we can?
If we desire to, sure, we've got a forum.
Yeah. I'd rather move along myself and we can reorganize the agenda so that the issues we want to make sure that too for. We can put close to the end and something like that.
You said that, Lester might be zooming in.
That's how I recall his last email. He didn't say he was, I recall, so he wasn't coming here physically.
He also wanted one of us to do something in the recording or transcription by the department for minutes purposes. Was on one of the emails.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not a very good choice.
I'm not either, but if you want me to, plus I'll do it, but. I'm the one that argued for not having detailed minutes. As Eric remembered a couple of years ago.
Yeah, well, you were moderate compared with some of the other people who were on board at that time.
So anyways,
Either way, I can. I mean, I can put on the phone the transfer.
sure,
That would probably work, probably better than that, right?
Yeah.
That's right there. Okay, let's see how this works. And then I do have the Zoom recording on, recording the file. And we'll see what kind of audio quality and. Would you like to be our interim chair? Sure, so we started the recording in 1907, yes, we're starting the meeting in 1914. And the first item is approval of the agenda.
I would believe that we take item 3 and put it after item 6.
Okay.
Give Matt a chance to be here for that.
And 3 after item 6. Any discussion? No, it's a good idea. Okay, so a motion to approve the agenda with the change of moving item 3 to the after item 6. Anyone? No, so motion carried. All right, item 2, the approval of the August minutes. There's a note here that says needs clarification. And I have to admit, I saw a note that I need to go back and find. From Lester, I think. He had the draft August minutes. Well, I don't see any note from him on meeting clarification. Well, they were very brief.
Yeah, he sent a question out to us about an item, which I remembered an answer, and now I forget what it was.
I think he implored us to fill in the blanks, so
Yeah.
to speak. All right,
There was one specific thing he asked about, and I did remember that. It's incorporated.
so he did put under item 6, old business wastewater impasse. And then he said details to follow. So maybe that was the one he was.
I didn't give him details, I gave him the topic. No. Sorry, I'm blanking on which it was, but anyways, it was taken care of. He thanked me. But, he didn't. His minutes are his minutes, I mean, it's an impossible situation for him to.
Yeah.
And, as for myself, I'm perfectly fine with minutes like that. Then you don't have to worry about. Well, I had argued a couple of years ago, you come back and you know. Those minutes as written really reflect what happened when you're no longer able to remember. So in any case, I'm fine with the minutes as they are.
I suppose. Okay. Minutes approved, we will note they were a bit abbreviated due to some technical audio difficulty. All right, item 3 as was has been moved to after item 6, so that would make our new item 3, the town hall audio system. Morgan has basically thrown that football in our direction. I'm not sure that any of us have picked it up to run with it, and I must admit I haven't, but it is a hot button topic as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I will admit, I have not picked that particular football either. It's important because basically, you know, we need to have that transparency to the town. That someone can zoom in and actually understand what's going on.
Is the main issue now, cost? That's what's holding
I
back.
don't know. I don't know whether it's a problem with the all, or if it's a problem with the computer. I have a nagging suspicion that it might be an audio issue with the computer, which would be reasonably easy to fix. But it may be that the microphone system for that owl is just inadequate.
Do we need to get somebody in here to look at these things and tell us?
Well, we could probably at least test, with a separate laptop. And determine if you think it's the laptop or the eye. That should be pretty straightforward. And you know anybody that's an audiophile that likes to listen to music, full spectrum on their computer that have the basic good audio card on, or circuitry on their laptop. Yes, I don't have that, but I use my work laptop every day. Can you adjust, for instance, bass and treble levels of audio? Yes. If you can. I think that's a good part of it. Okay. This may have it in Morgan doesn't know.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
it's the idea that Buzz brings in his laptop next time.
Yeah, I could probably even do it on this one, but this is my own, so I don't use it for calls.
Sure. Yeah.
I use it for work every day, so I don't know what's going on. The intelligibility, I think, would go up a lot if we had people saying, well, that sounds kind of tinny. Or by boosting the treble part, which, because at least on my part, I have trouble because everything sounds kind of vocal. And the hard consonants of words, which removes redundancy, or inability to distinguish between words, without that hard consonant sound coming through, which is in the treble part of the spectrum. You have to scratch your head and, what did they say? Did they know?
It's
Maybe
our,
put it
it's
in
our
context
age.
It's,
Eric, it's our age, and the problem is with everyone, half people in town or more.
yes,
I could say age problem,
yeah.
and I do myself, so, well,
We can do it at the end of the meeting, but I can actually look on that, look on it, shouldn't be hard. Okay. It should be just in the settings, I think that's my good thing, though. At least I will. Okay,
and if necessary, you bring in just the next time.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, we've got a solution.
and then, I know she received a quote, and I looked at it, it looked like, to me, it looked like there were two options on the quote, the quote of both of them.
but I never got a clear answer on
And it looked like it was for that, and not that.
it. So maybe I can ask her for the contact, and I can ask them some questions. I do a lot of things.
Yeah.
So, if she wouldn't mind. And
I'm
then,
sure she wouldn't mind. I think just better play ball.
yeah, okay. And I have that quote in the emails.
Right.
So we'll review that. And then, yeah, various conference rooms, the ones that I've seen have the best quality in a room this size. Have coverage with hanging lights, hanging from the ceiling. If you're in a really big room. If you have a big table, the ones that go along the table and have cords are okay. But in a room like this, everybody gets snagged on and there's no place to sit.
Yeah, that's great for the people in here, but not up there. So it
So,
would be in your audience.
yeah. So we can maybe check on that because actually these bars, they're insulated. I think you can use those.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, so you actually have, you have a kind of a perfect location for some hanging lights. That would probably,
There's nothing insulated about those, but
well,
as far as,
the wire harness is,
right, yeah. As far as being a good place to hang from,
yeah.
they probably fine. Unless we need to go up.
Yeah, so it's actually there's a big tile out for like the conduits on
Yeah, those are actually part of the structure of the building.
it. Yeah, so that would be pretty, that'd be able to hold a couple of pounds.
Okay.
Right. Okay,
Used to be fairly common in old buildings, especially in old buildings.
Yeah.
Um,
it actually gives the internal tech, it pulls in,
yes, so the
the walls push out. and
the
this pulls-
roof is pushing out like this and it's putting those bars in tension.
Yeah, so you have the opposing force. Yeah. It's kind of a neat old building, when you take the time to look at the ceiling and do a tin roof. You know, or a tin ceiling.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else on the audio system? Some follow,
Such a move on.
okay. Welcome to Grafton signage. I think Mike had added this last week. There's the sign, I did look at the sign he told me about by the fire department, after he told me about it, but I drove by every day and never noticed. It is welcome to Grafton in kind of a full letter. I think he was, I think his point was, do we try to do something that's a little more visible?
That's a real aesthetic kind of,
Yeah.
When people are coming this way, I think they know where they're going. Some of the place you stumble into.
Yeah, nobody stumbles in the Grafton.
this is not a byway, it's a destination.
Okay. So we take the kind of more visible side and be a little,
You can make it bigger, I don't think you wanna make it
I don't want to build
more gaudy.
okay. Any other discussion on that? We're all in. Okay, we that's one thing to. If he has other-
People know where they're going, so. With the sound like, tend to think. Keep it simple. Elegant.
I kind of agree, you know, something that's subtle, but maybe, I don't know, might be as simple as painting, you know, brighter or whatever.
Sounds like.
May have made it from Vermont.
Light came on in stairwell. Don't hear him gasping for breath yet.
Ooh,
Yeah.
You got it up.
I've been drafted tonight, I've been texting court, I'm doing the minutes, and, I've been reading the minutes. So I'm like, hey, keep going. Well, Well, we were just on, the welcome to Grafton thing. And, I think the point of that in the last meeting was perhaps making it more visible.
When we talked about, marketing.
Yeah.
The town. And. I'm sure you've all seen other towns that like have. These larger signs and. They are at the. The actual town lines. I was thinking the smaller signs that we currently have. Could be moved out to the actual. Borders. And then have something larger as you come into the village. And I know there's a controversy about. The town versus the village. But it is the village, when we do have a village designation. And we have a larger sign that. Maybe indicates, welcome to. Grafton. Village. Welcome to village.
Who maintains?
Right now, I have no idea. Yeah, some of them have flowers,
Hmm.
or they used to. Is it the GIA or?
Sounds like something we might do. I can ask my sister, she's her secretary.
Or it could be the foundation.
I know they were originally done, when Cindy Newman had something to do with them way back. When they were doing when they did the website, the original website way back in 80. Or 6, somewhere in there. And they were promoting. The village with they had their camp living. They lived in the sun and So was that a separate group altogether that did all that?
Back then, yeah. But I don't know. I doubt that anybody's been doing our maintenance. From that group. I would assume sooner, yes, that we've done. Perhaps the Women Foundation.
So thought, do we? What do we do with it as a planning commission to supply?
Well, we batted around the idea that, Grafton is sort of a destination place, nobody comes here, by accident, so.
Yeah.
We know where they're going. The idea of putting the signs at the town boundary certainly makes sense. Not so sure about having a special one for the village. Not sure what it accomplishes. We're here with all the village.
Yeah.
Raises potentially other issues, so. Too many signs and.
Yeah, I guess I would go a little bit of that small Vermont show. Yeah, I think I kind of tend to read it through. It's the better.
Tonight? Well, what about moving them out to the actual borders?
We'll be okay with that, I guess, but I think we need to know who owns them, who takes care of them.
Yeah.
So we may need to ask. They have an issue with it. We're not. So I did make a note to find out who owns and maintains them.
Yes, yeah, I think that's, that is the.
Might be worthwhile to consider the Grafton Improvement Association. Something that they might do.
Might be. Oh, side note, we were kind of curious, did Lester mention if he was joining something? He's not on the Zoom.
He said he may be able to, but I think the last email was he probably wasn't going to be able
Okay.
to.
Okay, any other discussion on the Grafton Fund?
Again, I was thinking of it more as the marketing, part of the marketing. We'll follow our marketing plan.
wrap into that.
Yeah,
Can we keep it up, we do more marketing discussion?
yeah, so that's kind of where I went into marketing Grafton, and,
We might need a slogan.
well, we really mentioned, you know, hiring out to a professional firm to get us out there, you know, have a professional website, have some sort of a marketing plan. I think the Winter Foundation does it all now,
Yeah.
so, but we don't do anything for Grafton.
Right?
I'm not sure what it gains for the town to do something like that. Certainly
Well, you get the realtors
consultant.
involved. Any other services, you talked about other services in town, to be able to put them on the map.
Yeah.
Um,
I did notice in the current town plan, it did have telework reference to years ago. So it was already in, it's just a couple of words. It was in-
Yeah, it needs actually to have some more specifics. In order to be a marketing tool and with specifics, it would be a pretty powerful marketing tool. One gig speed throughout the town. And the imminent promise of 10 gigs is something that would be very attractive to a lot.
Right. Stats, did you want to? Okay, and that will probably come up, we're gonna talk about the first chapter tonight, is that right? Okay, so that'll probably be there. Anything else on well, actually, we kind of stepped from the Grafton signage into marketing Grafton, which was the next.
Yeah.
So you guys, you know, are gone through the town plan chapter review
When we were approving the agenda, there was a request to move item 3 to be after item 6. So we adjusted the.
Yeah, okay.
So I guess continuing any marketing discussion. And then we would get to the previous sentence. But I do like the, you know, I do think the telephone is a yeah, big advantage for Grafton House, you know, the high speed internet. And I tell you, I love it. My commute is about 15 steps. I have to get to my desk, and then you can go out and have a walk in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And
I do a whole lot more from home now on mornings, too, I go to the job, they know what they gotta do. And then the only texting, doing all kinds of things right from here.
Yeah, you're in touch with the world. I started my day yesterday at 7 a.m. I was on a call with India, and then I kind of moved, you know, around the globe as we go through, and ended up today with California.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, I have better internet here in Grafton than the old Sauce. Yeah, we're on old Comcast line.
yeah. I lived in Conroe, Texas, which is a Houston suburb. It's better internet here than it was. And that was pretty good set of fun.
Yeah.
Actually, less competition for the benefit.
I like that, you said Grafton as fast as you want.
Yeah, faster than you want to be, you know, if you need to be going,
Yeah,
and then you can slow down for a little while.
yeah.
Well, how do we push this reality that, you know, I mean, obviously, it'll make its way into the town plan, but the town plan is something that nobody reads, so, you know. But, you know, we're talking about marketing. a specific thing in the market. With worthwhile sitting down with the foundation and see where they're at.
Yeah, especially with the new regime, you know, there's Bob's gone now, and, see how we can help them, how they can help us. Um. Do we invite the new, what's the position, CFO? CFO,
See,
Change the title.
they did change the title.
Um, Yeah,
Bob was CEO, I think that we're introducing this guy as CFO,
something like that.
Chief Financial,
yes.
interesting.
That's
He has the CEO kind of duties as well.
I don't know, I just remember reading it, that. the
Yeah, it's
article,
something the gap can do, so the title is different.
Yeah.
Like exactly what it is, but, might be worthwhile. Just. To meet with this person in any case. Brand new, gonna be here a few years, and
So should we invite him to a meeting here, you know?
yeah, you know, I think we need to think beforehand, what is it we wanna have a discussion about? You know, part of it is marketing the fundamentally positive resource we have here in Gothic that not many other places have. Especially in this environment,
Executive Director.
you know, that makes sense. Um, you know. So, here, ask, and what's their vision for the next few years since we're coming up with a new plan, so. we have to think about what they're thinking of. It seems like we have some things to discuss.
Do we include Angela? As well, gamekeeper, or just talk with. What the gentleman's name,
Dan Werner,
was it?
Dan Werner, LER,
AR?
LER, NER.
so he ends up at the end.
The Women Foundation.
Oh, that's, okay,
He succeeds Bob Dolan.
all right.
Oh, okay, so he led programs at the University of Vermont Extension. Oh, okay.
Good background.
So we'll call it a meet and greet, maybe?
Meeting point.
So you would reach out to him, Matt,
Yeah,
so you might indicate a couple of the items you'd like to be talking about. Well, you know, usually about marketing.
yeah, how about, you know, their future, our future will come up on our new plan, and the town plan,
Yeah.
yeah, how do we all sit together?
Okay. Any other marketing talks? So that does bring us to the town plan chapter review. And then the chapters begin working on, and I think. The last thing we talked about, starting the chapter there.
Well, I started off, I actually read the introduction again. And then, well, the first chapter. There's one question it raises is. A lot of this stuff. First of all, the plan is really quite well written. For all the years of work on it. All the various issues. But it's a well-written plan and it's well thought out. And I say this partly because I actually wrote this plan for 7 years in the city of Toronto. So I've read all too many plans in the but this is a big one. So part of it is that, you know, there's a lot that we really don't have to change. Or we could think about, oh, let's just try and rewrite it again, but for instance, an introduction of the Rapids history. Well, it's done well. I hadn't thought of what they knew about the history, so, oh, that should be in there or something like that. So a lot of that could just, you could have at least a working assumption is you leave these things in place for now. Having said that, what it means, for instance, introduction, is the first chapter has to be rewritten because it has some data in it. Data is no longer correct. I didn't see anything else in the introduction and the purpose and all that stuff. In the history of time. So that's how I approach the chapter we want to talk about tonight, and this as well. But I would just suggest introduction is a working basis. Is that we see that the first paragraph of the introduction needs to be updated. Okay.
You have that, what, you have that, print it out? Yourself? Or no?
I asked Logan to print them out for me, because I work on paper, so.
Yeah.
So it doesn't.
Did she make more copies, so there were other copies?
No, she made one to me, and. Yeah, I'm sure she'd be happy to do it if we want to do this on a month by month, and have a.
Yeah.
Amazing thing, so.
Yeah, you know what I've got in the truck as well, Dave Over gave me all of his notes.
Yeah.
Really not really minded, because it's been a while, but
Yeah.
he handed it over. Along with some old time on. Stuff over from the original water committee I came across. Not water committee, but the original. Wastewater engineering report.
I had a question about that, because it mentioned Otter Creek engineering, so is it different company that
There were two, this is the third engineering study.
Okay. Well, it mentions one in this one.
Water Creek was before, maybe, or after.
I didn't quite at parts of it.
One was early 2000s, one was. Mid 2000s, or maybe 7 or 8 years apart.
So it has that under zoning regulations and potential for it to impact them in the future. So like if that can now be expected. With all the additional study.
Yeah. Well, now they're going into the 90%. Forward. We talked about that. Next week?
Not sure.
Well, tomorrow.
It is tomorrow.
Another thing that it mentioned that I had a question on was, it says the designation of growth centers and cluster housing in the town boundaries to help achieve responsible growth while maintaining the rural character of Grafton. I wasn't sure what the
You're gonna-
intent was there on the.
You're gonna hear more about that in the monster attachment, the email sent out for that.
Oh, okay, that's in.
That's in there, yeah. You probably haven't seen it, but I got some response back from WRC. Really appropriate and good response, I would say. I printed out the municipal plan review tool. And that is a sort of step-by-step process for at least what town plans are supposed to have today. And then there's this monster some 40 files, some people standards. 47 pages long of what are essentially abstracts of regulations that have changed and impact what goes into town plans. That's gonna be a very meaty thing to go through and figure out. And it's actually gonna be a work in progress because WRC is gonna be working on it simultaneously to try to develop the towns. The legislature this last year upended a lot of things. And it rattles all the way down through town plans, and we're gonna have to address them. In this, town plan review document. There's a paragraph here relative to land use. Maybe, useful for me to just read it now. Maybe, Monty? A land use plan consisting of a map, statement of present and prospective land uses that. A. Indicates those areas proposed for forests, recreation, agriculture. Using agricultural lands, notification processes. Established in 6 VSA 8. Residence, commercial, industrial, public, semi-public uses and open spaces. Area reserved for floodplains and areas identified. The state and regional planning commission on municipality. That requires special consideration. Aquifer protection, for wetland protection, for the maintenance of forest swamps. Wildlife habitat and habitat connectors, or for other conservation purposes. Oh, hell of a sentence. It's been written by a lawyer. B, sets forth the present and prospective location, amount, intensity, and character of such land uses and appropriate timing or sequence of land development activities in relation to the provision of necessary community facilities and services. C, identifies those areas, if any, proposed for designation under chapter 76A of this title, together with for each area proposed for designation, an explanation of how the designation would further the plan's goals and the goals of section 4302 of this title, how the area meets the requirements for the type of designation to be sought. And D indicates those areas that are important as forest blocks, habitat connectors, and plans for land development in those areas to minimize forest fragmentation and promote the health, viability, and ecological function of forests. Well, that's the excerpting of what they expect to see within a land use chapter.
So, the current one kind of has that. I think. And then if you go to the maps, it kind of lays out. At least the forest areas, the ag land, the.
Yeah, I think it probably does not designate areas of habitat connectors.
No. They had rear entry areas.
Well, the deer winter areas are transient.
Yeah.
And basically require, if you're gonna, work on them or use them as part of the, choice and part of development and having, you have to have.
I don't think anyone's listening.
Yeah, we have to basically go out and land,
It's gonna ball in the
areas, they're not like one, you know, the leader move around as sort of vegetation changes.
Well, I did see that it has a lot of participants, very, very. One point connected, is it talking about the connector across the river?
It's, in terms of what the state wants to see is, connectors that, join forest blocks. And if you want to get around that, you would find that all of that, I didn't think about, I didn't read there. Is then within the forest law. Uh, there's- I have a little bit of an issue with it because, as long as we don't do things that threaten the forest laws or, prevent wildlife corridors. And you don't see that we really go back and land. Including, human habitation.
Yeah, I don't mean, because when you're dealing with the landscape forest, you have Washington concourse, those are all kinds of forest. There's not too many areas in Rapid where there's not, I mean, the house, sport box in the home, right?
Right.
Look how close to the kid on the roof.
Yeah.
And, I can tell you personally that the, well, there does not seem to be just improving. Because they're over to my yard all the time. That's correct. Well, I'm serious,
They're wandering around with it.
I go out in the morning and still turkeys in my yard and they see birds and deer. They do.
You can go down there. With suburbs of Massachusetts. My hometown, I had one, the bear, the deer, the coyotes, running to deers.
There's turkey and NYC, they hang out on the ball field when there's not a game. The dog is scared.
Yeah, well, there's actually more bear in Agawam. Or at least plenty bear in Agawam, so they're up and it's. So. They're finding their habitat, they're finding their way around.
Must be getting clean somehow. So I would agree with that. I guess it's just how we verbalize that to be convincing.
And how do we, prevent, future, what would be effectively state zoning? Restrictive would be the job. And, certainly, some degree of that is appropriate when it comes to nature, wildlife, and or plants and, things that are really critical. That I can see the state, having a hand. One of the things I think they're carrying, and I look at the overall, say, the whole map of the London region. This stands out as being particularly remote, with habitation just following the streams, basically, that's the easiest way to get out of town. And they see this as tying up with forest loss to the northeast and to the west. The Wyndham's, what a mirror image intersects of Grafton in terms of what it makes it laid out. What I would like to see in Grafton are deliberate choices of animal forage, habitat connectors that the town buys easements for. Compensates the landowner. Provides, good passage for wildlife. Without having to say, come down with every, that way. We recognize it as a community as a value to. Make life with wildlife better. And we, do it a fair way, where it's people with on land. State for it, to say. Oh, we want a corridor here, therefore. We will pick up the rights to do whatever on this chunk of land, and we will establish a corridor.
You should,
I don't like,
we go on fully, and that is.
yeah,
But how do you close it, how do you draw that out, and how do you tell the animals, well, here's your movement?
they're fine. And in fact, wildlife tends to follow along. Brooks says it's forward, so, yeah. I want to see some of the major. Brooks, feed into the Saxon River. Have buffers on the side that are completely forested. That we pay the first landowner to reforest. As an easement of their land. They, and I think that wouldn't be necessarily. Received only by most landowners because it's. Land that is difficult to. Turn into agriculture, you can most of the stream. Stream is going to be fairly jagged. And. A lot of wildlife that, needs the seclusion of that kind of a buffer. And they can add to it in remarkably, narrow confines. Where you wouldn't expect that they would otherwise. We've done a study of. Down north of implemented. Yeah, wildlife. Never corridors, and then actually intensively monitor what went through there. It was little more than kind of country lane which served fields that they allowed to be forested on the side, and they had such reclusive predators as bobcats using. I'm fairly impressed by it. So if that can happen, if we would do the same thing, deliberately in places that would connect up to our forest spots. Without, should we have an impact on, land uses around. Our landowners would be treated well, our wildlife would be treated well. We have something proactive that we can show is doing the job before they even put natural resources. Comes in and says, we will do this.
The obvious place to start is to have something between model 80 and the mountain forest. That area is productive rural, doesn't make a whole lot of sense for most of them.
Right.
But certainly it's a type of corridor that the Saxon doing.
Another place that makes a lot of sense to me would be Al and Willie Brook.
Yeah.
Down the valley. That big block of wood there on Spring Hill. Makes no sense at all. It started being distinguished from what's north of it or what's south of it.
Yeah. Never did. The way it talking as the wanted to. It's simply taking their resource and a whole block in the middle of that. Where,
Yeah. And it's, there's nothing magic about Chester Road that, that's, should make it white on one side and green on the other.
some of that is the positive.
Yeah, to the way more valley. Right?
The eastern road is sort of, it's not very.
You know, you get here, it's, we're in the top five, it's sort of the more populated areas of the community. We should probably.
Yeah.
Well, one mistake on that map is the rural and the metro. Given the description here, doesn't match the map, it's not description, it's easily roll, the upper part of it. You know, really where the metro, it should be blue.
Yeah,
And there's enough housing there, but it's that's a map mistake.
Well, there's a little order. Connected some interesting. Especially for,
well, I think oftentimes if relatively narrow corridor, it's, you know, forested, significant. Other stories say that all kinds of critters will go through.
Quite honestly, I think. It's not really, probably true what we're going to do.
Except for the operating for the house. But it's small, and so not going to go across the base of the sections down the right.
So the stream, the tributaries to, streams, larger streams, rivers, are staying where.
So if it's in, you know, water or even surface water, I would say. Yes, I think that is. Surface water is state water. I think it's a low power. The.
Small stream. Exactly where you would sleep.
When you see. Their idea of. Habitat connectors, and what. They are. They're defined as. Small and. Well. They're just kind of block connectors on the big map.
No, it's like the map, it's the water itself.
Oh, it's
It's the water itself, Jackson River, and it leads to the river. Is that considered state boundary?
I think all surface waters are state owned. I think we're wrong, but I think we're.
You know, how much do we get up to the state? How much do we give up? How much the landowner give up for an easement or? Yes, we going to his property. All of a sudden, the state, and we own like 50 feet inside. You know, but once stream. And if someone wants to build across that stream. For a home. We'll have to do it. It falls under the median. That block question that blocks people's properties.
Having a. Driveway and a bridge and all that sort of thing. Tends to. got those or. So. That's something to look at very carefully.
So, the one there, is supported the connector with the ground, so they're not. Yeah, the video really, like, have to do with the window and actually, you not put it in that. If you're building with a tunnel, you have to connect to it. Put a pole, you got a pole. So if you did that in the town, we need to that, keep them, have that great rule.
No. We're basically speculating here as well. Well, man, I was moved, not being clear.
You're talking about, you said smaller animals, most smaller animals don't migrate very far.
And they don't cross swift water.
Right. So you're talking here, who's. Cats, yeah, and also where we get the four dogs, nothing there. Smaller and lots of fun follow the road. Most animals will follow the road. You've got a fairly woods, they're gonna follow. Because why should they waste energy elsewhere, if they want to clear path? Right.
Yeah,
So it's least resistance, but save energy.
and the other reason we wouldn't use it would be the amount of traffic.
So really, there's four meetings.
Yeah.
So, if you have like, over another pass of the quarter on each one, you're almost.
Where was it, where they got 89 and 91, going up and down, Vermont. Animals get across, unfortunately, some don't make it, some they get. But where was it that they actually built overpass? Over by the forest with it, with the animals that got built. Where was it, that was fine.
But you.
No, it was somewhere local, not, somewhere in the bottom of the, somewhere they actually built a wildlife overpass. In the river. You Google it? Google. So you know, you probably.
We still have,
I see them walking from time to time.
I love the amount of information. US state, UT, one process. Massachusetts.
so, search for Google, there was, it wasn't,
There's one in Massachusetts. That picture in mind.
as I saw,
It actually looks like, being sound, moist, sweet, farms, foods, that's
House cat?
reasons, bushes.
You say house cat?
Okay.
Maybe on that shape over the bottom. Okay.
and when I was sitting through that large section for the new legislation, there's a law in there, so. Wildlife for
It's to the middle of the district.
who's walking through a very important.
Oh, that's the handle?
Yeah. It's a lot easier for me to imagine that. Compared to going over it.
So I sort of thinking that, we go over,
This is an old path that's on. It was rendering of. It was either existing or it was proposed.
yeah, I've seen those too.
Anyway, when you get to looking at this, the results of the new legislation, you see a lot about, connected corridors.
Bobcats. Those are not cheap.
Connected corridors and, patterns, things. There, technically, ethnic inclusion, that sort of thing. Basically saying that all of the population should be benefited from things here with this. Those that quarantine.
And why would someone's in Boston?
So is that all part of this kind of like here, or is this?
This is actually a plan.
They're going to be with water. It's the one.
That's it, absolutely.
They haven't done.
Yeah, that's almost.
We'll put 6 million.
Well, we can back in the draft and it's. Where we're headed, for.
Oh, yeah, it's, I mean, depending on how big it is, it'd be over a hundred, but it would. It would be good for it. Well, they're good. But they're little over.
So where do you see the most concern there, as far as providing?
Well. I would first look at, how it works. So. Then we'll. Because those are the two major forest spots. It's really wild on either side. I believe that wildlife not have that great a difficulty in just guarding across the road out of one forested area into another. As long as there's not a house and your dog's there, then that's something. Other area that. I think we want to make sure that we want north. We're all connected and. That. Quite frankly, I don't think all the wildlife will have too much problem in crossing. 121 off the state average.
Really isn't that much traffic.
Well, instead of marking that.
Yeah.
Did you know that at one point, this is way back in my. Earliest years on the planet, which was delivered or inserted into the town plan. That, sections of Route 121, they move the village and one of them will remain here unless there were a circumferential, road corridor built around the village. Of course, that never happened, which. Yeah, so there was a lot of heartburn from people that wanted to do development on 121 within the village. And there, as Harold Idaho used to say, there was an awful lot of traffic would come to his driveway, just. Where the pavement stops now.
Yeah.
And turn around and just right. They shouldn't stop the idea of driving out there.
This is a through.
See that several times over the years. So it's- You know, I don't know, just put in the video, and it's very close. So something wrong is, they choose us. For a particular reason, and then they want, you know, something that they understand. Right. And 141, but you out of here for once.
That's right.
There we go.
That
They're
makes,
not letting you do that, and it's not at all, they should have their travel.
that makes drafting a waypoint without a destination.
Yeah.
Which would have been, changing the whole traffic pattern. Through drafting.
Yeah.
You don't see it,
That was perfectly big argument against it, that people pick up on. That's say. You don't have to get out of it on the theory.
Yeah. There have been arguments made by people in the town government that. Trying to maintain that road as a gravel road is. Perhaps more expensive. Than having to pay. They tend to. Doubt that except for the hill is paved and out there. But yeah, the availability of gravel is really becoming. An issue, it's accelerated, being pretty. Readily available and. Before we had years ago, and now it's one where. You have a gravel deposit, how and we make. So, the state closed a lot of remedies. And there's one, actually, there's Morgan. And Goodrich. Yeah. If you've got gravel and it's on a road, then you continue down the road. Climate change, we're gonna have all that gravel just washed down into the river. So we encourage it out of the river, so we get it. And you set up the camps on both sides of the river, you're an excavator over here, and here's me, and I over there, with city police, and you will not, that's that. Yeah.
Just put in that. You know, kind of hybrid. We can take our, just to get both the chapter, sort of order. But on page 8 at the bottom, zoning regulations. That discussion looks to be updated. Prior on 2006 and current investigations and their fall. So it's flagged that.
yeah. I was,
Yeah, presently our only zoning is supposedly.
And then on page 11, under the drafting, the map was not matched the description. So it's a map that needs to be changed. Using the old, section.
We making notes on those?
Yeah, I just.
we also mentioned,
The things that have to be thought about for sure. And then, we're talking about. Activity and things like that, and so that first section on top of the line, draft and resource plans, that's probably where we need to rewrite. Incorporate the document. Yeah. That discussion is on a date. So,
And the actual, land, descriptions for. Yeah, land descriptions are going to give. massaged around with the different language by the new requirements too.
Yeah. And if we don't. It's a couple different places here. There's a lot of work that's been done on the software. And here, it's not discussing, it's just knowing the access. Knowing that policies and requirements in place should be reflected in the plan.
That's Shepherd Chen.
What was it, the whole in there, each designer should know that that's, you know, that's. It's up to the workshop.
And also, it's the, grappling on the.
There was that information.
I think they are, that is
It's that.
And that, by the way, haven't followed it at all. Provides some degree of financial resources for the non-municipal buildings within the complement of the village sector.
Okay. And we already talked about the goals, that there's a reference small community, but it doesn't stand up. Middle line. And then the. So there's some of the goals that are cheap. We also have more than page 12. Encourage voluntary action to ensure planning implementation, including privately agreed prescriptive payments, finding and pushes for one. Is what? Is there anything we've done? Or doing the book that? What I'm very important.
That may have something to do with the forest land and
Well, oh, what? Yeah, for somebody who's not. So maybe that could be extended. Because it does talk about investment in use of existing non-profit and then go to a lot of full conservation.
Page 12, number 2 weeks ago. Taking care of it, it's the applications that. Yes, so the. Yeah.
I want to write it, say it in the words, so like, how what is the thing in yellow, and share that.
oh, I was worried.
Any other,
I was actually blindsided by it. Because I learned about it through the WRC rather than from, they work, could have come through.
Yeah, and another day would be, but that, they have days, you know, around.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, in the, so that this, more than something that.
any additional discussion on chapter 1? Not, for chapter 2 for, is that any different?
We have time, we can. Pre-boil it down in each chapter, right?
Yeah, and. Look at it, really this kind of a language.
So, you probably look for reading meeting.
Yeah, actually, it was, very nice. The Zoom meeting. For the project review and this came from my inquiry with Chris Campany, calling him that, we wanted to have some guidance and any kind of help they might be able to throw our way as we begin our process of updating the plan.
Oh, so this has everything. It has all the,
Yeah, so that's relative to town plan specifically.
yeah, yeah.
If you work through my email that I sent to you on your smartphone here. And pick up the other, there are two other attachments. One of which is not of a lot of importance. Basically was the review committee from the WRC, our acceptance of our last town plan. So I wouldn't pay very much attention to that right now. But the one that has all of the legislative stuff on it, some, as I said, 47 pages on. That you'll find is going to take us a lot. And in fact, we will probably not get through that for a year, maybe more, because it's a real work in progress. And the legislature really threw things up in the air and all settled down with a whole bunch of different requirements.
And how much more is it gonna change between now and 2024? 28.
I don't know. I don't think Act 250 really got resolved that completely. And, you know, it's basically a real tug of war in the last legislature. I don't think it was resolved, and I think that will continue. So we may see a lot more relative to 250 and particularly with regard to building more housing. Which finally people are beginning to wake up and
Yeah,
not enough housing to put people in.
there aren't even enough housing for the people that are looking for temporary housing. Hotels are still. There's waiting lists to get into apartments, and I met a couple yesterday that are looking for work. And they've been homeless for 2 years. It's for 2 years, and then the waiting list.
That's a gross hit
Yeah,
of government.
yeah, so
All
I told him to contact, it's Rockingham, to contact, was it Golden?
Yeah.
And Michelle Boston. And document what you get the response, and if you don't get the right response, go to the newspapers.
it's been ignored at the state level. And it's just been raked open like a raw wound up there where the flood damage has been in the central and northeast part of the state. Where housing was a problem before, and now it's a terrible problem. And state government really is unwilling to step up to the plate or give guidance for the municipalities.
And to
Figure out how to.
and even though they do have homes. They're gonna be looking at this, the heating bill standard and all that, and they can't even probably keep their homes that. It's one thing I did tell them, you don't have a home to worry about, you don't have to buy oil this year.
Yeah,
Kind of chuckle with it, yeah, I wish I had that problem, but. So everyone, it's just. Going up the ladder to us all, it's gonna eventually affect everyone, whether it's housing. Costs. And something's gonna happen. What are we doing? this is just where we stand, so the housing per capita.
Sorry,
What's the house, some statistic on housing per capita. We have more houses than are occupied or. What was that?
what you're getting at.
No, I'm sorry,
Housing costs
no,
relative
we have
to
more houses.
median income is one of the highest in the country.
Okay, there's that one, but then there's the number of houses that we have that are unoccupied. Well, 28% of the homes in Vermont
Yeah,
are unoccupied because they're.
I'm not sure what the figure is, but you know, it's very high because you've got a lot of people who are not using their homes. They live somewhere else most of the time.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, so there are these homes that are right here in Grafton. Right down the street. That could probably house several families that are just sitting unoccupied. And we're trying to find a home for. You know, a couple that are living out of their car for 2 years. The only thing they could afford was at least buying a new car to live in.
Yeah.
Isn't that sad? And when they went down the list of all the things that they've done so far, and it's like, really? And then he had gotten laid off when he's gone, at Whitney Blade. Right across the road from where my shop is. And
Yeah.
he came over, so I used to mow lawns and need me help. Don't have a spot for him, I want to make a spot for him. To give him some extra money. Well, I want to give him $100 just for coming in to talk to me. Most people don't even make their interviews.
He wants to work,
He wants to work. So I'm gonna find a spot and, you know, a couple days a week,
figure out a way.
you know.
I believe Welland is still higher, you know, across the river. The Welland and.
Go.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're still higher.
yeah. We have a lot of sad situations out there that many people aren't aware of. Because, you know. I went home last night just thinking about this guy and his wife and. You know, he's later 40s, 50. Just- It's running the bad luck everywhere, but I thought about it, it's like, wow. There's a lot of stuff out there that, so many people aren't aware of.
And we don't have a car. They can't. All the municipalities around want to kick them out of place to even pitch it in.
Yeah. Did they kick out everyone up in Burlington, that was their tent city, where they all went?
Oh, it's interesting, the new manager from Burlington has designated an area that was found in home city on the land where they allowed homeless to go into a camp and actually provided porta potties and I think some sorts of water. Which is remarkably nice
Mm,
compared with all the other places where they just went and roast them out and bulldoze the area where people have been. And it seems so cool.
Quite including, although I always thought one of the best programs that, you know, they've had. In the past is the civilian conservation corps. Where they built a lot of things that are still around.
Yeah.
And really contributed a lot. You're correct in some of the trade.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, see, it's eating it.
Yeah. Where you provide work and then there's an output.
Well, you go up to Mount Scott, the mountain road that goes from the state forest.
All over the way, you know, all over the west, there's a ton of things.
So they built that.
oh, did they build the, like Townsend, the state park? those buildings,
I think so.
and, one up in Scotty, all the stone structures.
A lot of national park, trails and, buildings.
Ironically, they presented us with a problem insofar as the structures they built, although they were, really good structures, a lot of bridges. And they're all deteriorating at about the same rate, and they've all begun to be derelict now, and we're having to replace them.
Well, it's more.
They're coming to,
It's 100 years, right?
That's like, damn,
I mean, if you build something today, say it's gonna last 100 years. Back then, they could say, yeah, it'll last 100 years.
I've been watching the bridge next to my house. Well, I'm impressed by the kind of materials. I don't think that bridge is gonna move. The river,
Although, I thought they were supposed to raise the deck. A little bit, it's the same height.
I think it is a little bit.
I think I would
Because-
definitely get it
because
concrete
they're-
there, it's gonna be fine.
They're banked a little bit. I mean, that's what I.
And that bridge is curved.
Yeah.
I thought we weren't supposed to build another third
I
bridge.
heard that too, it's supposed to be straight.
But it is fairly straight. There's some curves going into it.
No, those beams are curved.
Okay, so
And it's about the same curvature as the old bridge. But underneath, maybe they're not as. Low the river. But underneath.
I know they're anchored for. As I said, I don't think that bridge is ever gonna move. I mean, it might have its deck ripped off the top, but the pilings they put in, they're down there.
That's quite a rig they had in the drill holes.
I don't know, if you haven't saw the rig, driving the pile to, called a diesel pile driver. And, a normal pile driver, just say the weight that dropped on the top of the pile that they're putting down. Well, this has a head that is weighted, but internally it's a diesel one-cylinder engine. So when it comes down, it fires the diesel and gives it a hell of an impulse. It drives the thing back up the rail. Kind of resets and comes back down. This cloud of white smoke came out of it. That was quite a sight. That was one of the few things that I could actually feel the vibrations from inside of it.
There you go, bird's eye view.
Yeah.
All right, we have old business here.
Yeah, well,
So,
the wastewater, as it is tomorrow, the report, there's a link to it, okay? I'm not sure how to get it to you, though, it's in the calendar, but it's there. Oh, it did go to you guys, you did get it. Oh, no, I'm sorry, this is a good, never mind. The invite went to the water committee and the select board. If you're interested in joining us 1 o'clock tomorrow, I think 1 or 2 o'clock. I can't make it. There's quite a list of what the amendment is. It basically boils down to, they're giving us $2 million to. We don't know what. You can do $2 million. Improve the. Water testing, they want us to do water testing, they want us to include the PFOAs testing. Improve the pumping ordinance.
So is that money then actually designated and approved? or-
It will be. Yeah, but we went from the 3.9 million to. 2.1 or something.
And that money is coming mainly from the state? There's a fed money there?
It's including federal money.
Does it hit a sunset, or can it be used over a number of years?
I'm not sure, I think it is within certain period, doesn't give us a whole lot of time, but still. There's wording in there, if you're finding a parcel. Again, within a certain time frame. Like, we never did get down to Edwards to. Do a test pit down there, but even if it is, it's irrelevant, because. It costs you 20,
Yeah,
so you get $2 million, you know,
you know,
it's gonna, it's nothing.
to me, it's just an example. of Raising taxpayers' money,
Pretty much,
you know.
but Lion Bond will get their money from the grant, to do the study. And well, the time bond will be someone else. That would want the same results.
So basically. The only way the problem is gonna be attacked. Is for there to be a crisis. In town.
And they do mention the cluster, well, you couldn't even do a cluster system for. Two homes. You'd have to, you know, get, again, easements, rights of way, and who owns what. and- Someone's system fails, their grandfather to repair it. It's right.
I think you're correct in that. But. If that system. Manages to significantly. Pollute the entire groundwater. That everybody's drawing from. Then we got a. Crisis. of Epic proportion. That's the only way people are gonna ever change.
Yeah. Basically, those homes would not probably have to be abandoned.
I don't know. That's what I think, a whole lot of time, homes should be done up in the. Flooding and. Lamoille and other areas in the north where. Towns are right out in the riverbed essentially and. We keep on. Using federal money to try to patch them up and. Not spend the. Money that would be required to move. Municipalities to higher ground. The only way that problem. Is gonna get solved in the long term. Because we're gonna get more of those funds. And there won't be federal money after a while. I think one source of. FEMA money has dried up right now. Not mistaken. And if we have similar kinds of disasters happening. All over the country. Whether it's tornadoes, floods. Wildfires. Our disaster. Federal disaster money is just going to go away. And finally. Have to look at it locally. And figure out how to. Solve the problem of vulnerability. Ourselves rather than. Look to the federal government. Painful, but necessary.
overall, in the long run, it just might be a. More economically efficient and also just get better solutions and then. Have to make it work yourself.
I think so.
Mhm.
Making a house. Virtually impregnable with fire is an engineering task and it can be done. You don't have to have vegetation all around your house, a wood pile stacked against your house, and have a roof with cedar shakes. That's an invitation to become a nice barbecue.
get one of Elon Musk's $10,000 homes that are cheaply replaceable.
Um,
You bud?
Yeah, that it full business. With a new business,
Yeah, a new business, that was all received this Goodrich. Expansion.
yeah, that's not that,
Yeah, so it's first I've seen of it.
and you should have been the first to see it. Morgan had sent notice to the district commission. Email difference. And I sent it to the WRC, so.
So, did this go by anyone here in town yet, or this is the first that it starts, why didn't it go to the DRB?
It was not, in their jurisdiction,
Okay,
but we should have been informed of. And the informing, actually. Morgan probably got the information. But she would not necessarily have dispersed it. And Dave Culver got it, I'm sure, but.
then forward,
Yeah, I'm not part of the plan.
or maybe went to his junk mail or whatever.
Yeah,
So, in order to get the gravel pit expanded, you have to go to the WRC for order of application.
well, the district commission is environmental commission, Act 250,
Okay, and then.
and WRC
Formed.
gets informed automatically when the. Project is deemed a major project.
Okay.
So the project review committee in WRC sees all Act 250 applications that come through. And then we get to comment on them. We're actually required to comment on them when they're major, and we get to see all of them, whatever they are. So between, well, basically it's me, Cheryl Coughlin, has a committee assignment of natural resources, and she wouldn't necessarily see an Act 250 application. But since I'm on project review, I do get to see them. And that's when I opened up my agenda for the project review committee meeting, and I saw drafting, the Act 250. And where'd that come from? It should have gone to you, who would have dispersed it to all of us in the planning commission. Chris for DRB. Maybe Bill for town administrative officer. And
Didn't know
select board members.
Yeah, it went to select board, it went to Dave Culver, went to Morgan. Baseball engineering. Dr. Multify, he's probably a butter. Palmer's, Richard Palmer and Palmer, Goodrich. Anthony's on it. Bobby's on it. And then one division of historic preservation.
Yeah, it's a historic site.
Yeah, and then Kelly, Julie Schmidt, David Moulton, District 2. Environmental Commission. So this went out September. Yeah, today.
Oh, that's when I forwarded.
Right. And this is vote on Eastern Road. Right?
Yeah. If you're familiar with Richards. Yeah, Richards Road. Wise off from, Eastman Road. Just shy of that intersection. There's a road in. Almost, how is it, the big story lane? It goes across the lower end of the swamp that's across the road. That's the entrance into the gravel pit area, which then winds back towards the old campground area down there.
Which is what most of our.
Yeah.
Once, one other thing here, one of the trades, and then, your email to Alyssa.
What would you want?
Yes, that's it. A Grafton Outdoor Alliance. I select board planning commission. Update on the Grafton Outdoor Alliance. If you are not familiar with Grafton Outdoor Alliance, it's formed in spring. Oh, you know what it is, it's for outdoor recreation in Grafton. As we all know, there are miles and miles of trail system in the village. They're all independent and not connected. For those part, Foundation, Grafton Outdoor Center, Nature Museum. So on,
Should be in there.
yeah, clinical. Declared Drew and Carolyn from CRO Planning and Design to help come up with a master plan. Within that, they have done several site visits with each organization. And are doing a lot of research about how often on trails are used. Connectivity, etc. Jeff Nugent from William Regional Commission has also jumped on board. And is helping with mapping all of these trails. So within all of that. The community input is crucial and very valuable. We hope to tentatively hold a open house public visioning session on Wednesday, November 6th. We're doing the school, they find their posters and displays, blah, blah, blah. Ultimately, there will not be any type of presentation. It is more geared toward getting community input, so people can stop in and. Select board's role so far, we're just for supporting element. And all the meeting, try and stay informed as possible. Because no more. What we can.
It's just informative.
Yeah. But the trail system could go in with our recreation chapter.
Most folks did come in here to the planning commission.
Yeah.
Give a presentation.
Yeah. And then there's the active 50 exceptions. Checking vital documents. Just some more than I said. Did you guys get this?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
You did, yeah.
Other new business? Public comment?
Open with there.
Our next meeting, October 8th.
Yeah.
Motion.
We're back on a month.
On some move.
Wow. Everything.
What, was that serious? Yes.
If you have it out on a little
Cable.
You can start. It's all the products for the.
Find that, audio. Plan. It's a couple of minutes.
The other set.